I'll go first. So, not a super exciting demo, but this is the ability to roll back a change quickly if something goes haywire. So it's a CLI process right now. It's not fully released yet, but hopefully next day or two. 3 steps are: first, you got to pause the pipeline so that no other changes go out, kind of freeze everything. So that would just be, I'm not actually going to do it since it's production, but it just, say, are you sure you want to do it? And then you pause it. So then after that, you revert the code. So at that point, you say, what commit do I want to go back to? That'll bring back a list of, demo got. So it'll bring back a list of commits that you can revert back to. And there we go. So it'll show you the current pipeline status, the current service status. It'll flag if there's a deployment in process, so you don't try to step on what's going on. And then you can see all the commits are out there. This is the one that's live right now. And then here's some of the previous ones. Basically just double click. I want to go back to this one, cut and paste it in. And when there's no warnings, it'll let you do that. And 2 to 3 minutes, and it should be back to the commit you chose. A couple gotchas. This is just doing the code. So that means there won't be, and if there's a database migration, it won't roll back the migration. If there's infrastructure changes, it won't roll back the infrastructure changes. If there's anything like scheduler Lambda stuff, that kind of thing, won't revert that. So it only applies to model and remix. But instead of a 30-minute turnaround time, it'll be 2 to 3 minutes. And then the third step in the process is to resume the pipelines. The trick on that one is, and I'll write all this up and share it. The trick on that one is to make sure that any compensating commits, fixes, stuff like that, have made it all the way through the build process before we resume it. Otherwise, we'll be releasing potentially code that doesn't have the fix in it, which puts us right back where we started. So relatively simple process, and hopefully that will solve our problem anytime we push something out there that's crashed everybody. We can get back up and running quickly. That's it for me.
This is awesome. Brian, I'm super impressed by the UX of your CLI tools, by the way. Look way better than the ones I make.
Thanks.
And so you're correlating the Git hash to the task def in ECS?
Yes. So the way it works is each task def, each time it's built, let me scroll up a little bit. So this is clarification. It's the last 4 Git commits that were built into images. So if there's a couple commits that went out at the same time, it's going to be the commit that was the last one in. So you might not see the commit you want. It's not quite easy to figure out sometimes, but it's the best we can do. But yeah, each task def has a Git hash on it, so I can go and do a lookup to see what the commit message was.
Got it. And can you see more than 4, or is 4 the limit?
Right now, I did 4 as an arbitrary one, just to not have too much stuff on the screen. I can make that a parameter, I guess, if we think that's important. Most of the time, it's the one before is the one you want. So
yeah, I think the big question I had is like, yeah, I think you're right. It's most of the time, but if that one scenario where a bunch of things landed all at the same time or whatever, could you just grab a random Git hash out of Git and hope that it's actually associated, like that it actually released, or is that probably not a good idea?
So we don't want to go too far back. So that's kind of why I limited to, because that's more likely to have migration changes, infrastructure changes, stuff like that. But yeah, it's all arbitrary, so we can do what we want to do.
Okay. Yeah, and I think actually just the ability to list more than 4 is probably just a great way to
Easy enough.
follow that. One other quick piece of feedback on that warning that says you have to pause. It'd be really helpful to show the command that you have to run to pause. Because I'm envisioning myself with my hair on fire trying to run this thing and being like, shit, what does that mean? How do I do that?
I mean, it's not super hard. You change revert code to pause, but yeah, okay.
My hair is on fire in this scenario, Brian. I just want to
Fair enough.
Cool. This is awesome. This is exactly what I was hoping for. Thank you.